on campus. The incident came to light after the survivor lodged a police complaint on the 24th. It has now become the biggest talking point. The survivor, who stays in the university hostel, was out with a male friend right after dinner when she was apprehended by the accused. Her friend was physically assaulted. They were blackmailed and then she was allegedly sexually assaulted behind some bushes on campus. Since then, protests have erupted outside the campus, with students pointing to lapses and demanding greater accountability both from the government and from the college management. The Madras High Court, in fact, has taken cognizance of this matter as well. The Tamil Nadu government has to now submit a status report on the investigation. A one-man commission is also going to be looking into the matter. A fierce political fight, meanwhile, has broken out on the sidelines. Both the BJP and the AIIMS have blamed the state government for the worsening law and order in Tamil Nadu. In fact, the state BJP president today whipped himself 6 times outside his residence in Coimbatore. It was penance, he said, demanding justice for the victim. The DMK on its part has dismissed all criticism, pointing to the swift action that was taken, but the outrage has not died down. The 37-year-old Gnanasekharan was identified as a suspect after the police reviewed CCTV footage and was arrested a day later. Now, this arrested accused was done so from the Kotalpura area. He is a street vendor. We're given to understand he used to sell biryani outside the university campus. He has a wife who worked in the university, which is why he had complete access to the university and knew the layout inside. He has confessed to the crime as well, as what the police have confirmed. He's also confessed to assaulting another student on campus in the past. That has raised many questions against the state government because, yes, he's been arrested, but he has a criminal record, including 15 cases of theft and robbery. Why was there not better monitoring of this person? Now, he is accused of being involved in assault of another student, like I just mentioned. He's also assaulted victims' friends in this particular case. He was arrested back then. Whether it went to trial or not, details are a bit sketchy. The accused had threatened the victim in the past as well, this particular one. So he followed up on that threat before he allegedly sexually assaulted her. Now, the BJP has alleged that Gnanasekharan is the deputy organizer of DMK's East Student Wing, and that he has been photographed with top DMK leaders, including the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and Deputy Chief Minister Udayanidhi Stalin. The BJP made this allegation, which has been echoed by the AIIMS as well, that the accused is linked to the DMK, that a criminal gets close to a DMK worker and eventually becomes a member. That's how Gnanasekharan became a member as well, is the allegation the BJP makes, that he's a repeat offender, and because he's linked to the DMK, these cases against him get suppressed, is the allegation the BJP is making. So while we see this penance and this protest coming to the fore from the state BJP president Ananmali, what we want to ask here on Plain Speak is that, is this symbolism or is this a serious fight for justice?
Flogging ourselves, what we call whipping, what we call satayadi in Tamil, is only a process of surrendering to the higher power, surrendering to the God. And removing to the chapel, I have taken this decision with a lot of consideration, because coming 2026, our goal should be to remove DMK from power and to regain Tamil Nadu's lost glory.
Let's open this up. Umanandan, leader of Tamil Nadu BJP, is with us. The Sadabas political analyst, Suman C. Raman, an author, will be joining us shortly. And former IFS officer, B. Reddanna, joining us as well. Umanandan, let me begin by asking you, what was the point of this self-flagellation that we saw in Coimbatore outside Mr. Ananmali's residence, this penance? Yes, it grabbed eyeballs and brought attention perhaps to the case, but is there anything more to it?
See, first understand it's a sort of penance, you can see it. See, during Ramzan you find the Muslims flogging themselves or the crucifixion of the, symbolic like the Jesus crucifixion. So this is, he has made it very clear. He said he is praying to Lord Kartikeya. Already the 6 houses of Lord Kartikeya, during their visit, it's a very auspicious occasion, and majority of them do that without wearing their chappals. They go on walk. So this is, he has told that very clearly. I am praying to Lord Kartikeya and also doing this penance and praying to Lord Kartikeya that praying for the good of the child, the girl child, and also for the prosperity and for a renaissance of Tamil Nadu. You can tell that. He has been very clear in that. So I don't think people need to see anything more behind that. And whatever he told, he has followed that. And second, see, there are a lot of, unconnected dots which need in this child's case. Why was the FIR out? Why was the FIR out, naming every detail of the child, which is against the court orders? Second, what is the Audi car there, and who is the sir that the culprit mentioned? And the culprit has been a habitual offender. Why was the police not in surveillance? And he could simply walk in and walk out of Annaa University. And then you say, see, it is I think the living in relationships that this culprit has had, the 4th lady with whom he is living, and there are a lot of stories that are coming out now. And as recently as about 1 month or 15 days back, a similar incident of a girl coming out and telling. So there seems to be a total anarchy, not only in Tamil Nadu, starting with the university, all over Tamil Nadu. You find young girls, young boys, infants, all of them being targeted for sexual offences. So there seems to be no law and order at all. And for the FIR leak, you have the commissioner coming on stage and telling that there was some technical error due to which it obtained. What is the action taken against the person who was responsible for the technical error? Instead of talking about that, you find the commissioner coming and threatening, telling that if somebody talks about the FIR, action will be taken against them. Is it what is happening? And you did not, the chief minister has not come out at all on this so far. And what about the child's future? She is going to need, why are you spending so much money on outlandish events instead of taking basic care, providing security? That means this
security concern is a big one as far as the university is concerned. Now, this is not a university that's on the outskirts of the city. It's very close to the Raj Bhavan, is what I'm told.
Belongs to the DMK.
Now, that's an allegation the DMK denies. But let me ask the former police commissioner, deputy police commissioner on this panel, Mr. Redana, as far as this man's antecedents are concerned, given that he's a history sheeter, given that he's accused of assaulting somebody on this very campus in the past, should more care have not been taken by the college authorities, by the police, that he does not work right outside the university and has complete free run to enter at will?
Definitely the accused Gnanasekaran, who is a young of 37 years, involved in several rape cases, dacoities, robberies and all that. I don't know how police was noticed, what brought them to not to notice the accused earlier. It is also very sad to note that the accused, I don't know who leaked this, FIR was leaked in the internet. Somehow the accused victim's name, details, telephone number was known to each and everybody. How she will live in this world? Everybody will look at a different way. So this is very sad. This has to be investigated, and whoever is concerned person should be punished. Because a victim's, according to law, the victim's name, identity, telephone number, everything should be under screen. It should not, at any cost, should not be known to anyone except to the court who is inquiring into this, who is making inquiry into this case. I don't know how this came up. Definitely, it has to be investigated. The criminal, whoever behind this, should be punished. Apart from this, and this criminal who was involved, this Gnanasekaran, immediately rowdy sheet should be opened, and whoever supports them, definitely cognizance has to be taken against them.
And the Madras High Court has also now stepped in, Asad Abbas. Several questions are being raised of the conduct of the police and the state government in this case. Yes, the DMK says that we've made an arrest swiftly, we've acted in this case and we are committed to ensuring justice. But can these lapses be denied?
Absolutely, Poonamji. As a matter of fact, what Umaji said and also Redanaji, who's been a senior police officer, is absolutely right. I completely agree with the front that the victim's identity cannot be revealed whatsoever. Be it the police or the force or whosoever is involved in the same must and should be punished, because this is indeed a lapse. But to me, I'll share a personal anecdote with you and the viewers of CNN. I have been testimony to what a fine police officer Mr. Annamalai has been here in my city of Bangalore. To me as a youth of this country, it gives me a great inspiration from him. I have heard him speak in various institutions here in Bangalore. He's from the IIM, Premier Institute. He's also UPSC officer, an IPS police officer. He was called the Singham of Karnataka when he was serving here. Now, to see him coming off as a politician, calling all the press conference there in the front of the people of the press, whipping himself, flagellating himself. To me, as a youth of this country, it does not come across as a mature discourse. The fact of the matter, I've always believed a responsible politician like him, orator like him, who's seen as, maybe the next Prime Minister of the country, doing something like this comes across as absolute theatrics and dramatics. Because when I hear such a fantastic young leader speak, he shows great scientific temper. If you saw this video where he's speaking of artificial intelligence and the same video compared to a Rahul Gandhi, he made a lot more sense. Annamalai ji, a man with such great logical reasoning, with such great scientific temper, doing something like this, to me, it appeals as grabbing of eyeballs. And if you want to do penance, do it confining to your four walls, but calling the press and doing it in the front of the people of press, that to me is absolutely shocking.
So the
That
manner in
gives
which
me
he was protesting is the
absolutely no-
issue, but the issue he is raising is legitimate? Is that what you're saying, Asad Abbas?
Absolutely, Poonamji. As a matter of fact, he, being in opposition, should fight tooth and nail to bring justice to this. It is absolutely fine. His cause, his protest, no way defining that. AIA and Anna DMK also should do the same. But doing this is absolute theatrics. This is dramatics. He's turning out to be a political leader. He's not the same Annamalai who I saw as a singer. I have witnessed his speeches in Bangalore, and he's a man with great scientific temper.
Sure, but he's a politician now, and we
So that does
and
not
we are
justify
going to be
this
seeing
theatrics and dramatics
Sure.
whatsoever.
Sure. Before I get in, Suman C. Raman, Umanandan, you had a quick rebuttal to make. I see your hand going up since Mr. Annamalai is being spoken of.
Now, first I would like to thank my previous speaker for his glowing adjectives for Mr. Annamalai. And if he thinks that this is so, I think Mr. Annamalai's flogging or whatever is not a political gimmick. He has reacted like a father. He also has a girl child. Like any father, he has reacted. And
No, ma'am, I have.
his
I'm a
spontaneous
father of two
anger,
daughters. I can do that,
frustration,
ma'am.
everything.
I'm a father
No,
of two
everybody
daughters
cannot be
myself,
the
ma'am.
same. All the five
No.
fingers are not the same.
Ma'am,
See,
so he needs
all
to
the
call
five
press
fingers are not the
and
same.
do it.
Please,
So he should do it. Ma'am,
no,
the youth of
he
this
did
country
not
is
call the
watching
press.
this show.
The press has
Ma'am,
come
the
on
youth
its
of
own.
this country,
See, it
Umaji,
was an emotional appeal.
Umaji,
It was an
let me
emotional
tell you,
appeal that he was making.
He's from the IIM.
He wanted to raise
He's
a point
an IAS,
to tell the
IPS
public.
officer as the youth of this country. So are you saying that, are you justifying this? I'm a father of two girls. I wouldn't do this, ma'am. If I do it, I'll do it within the confinement of my walls, not calling the press and
I
doing
am
a drama.
sorry.
This
I'm
is a
sorry.
theatrics,
The
ma'am.
reactions
Let us
differ.
address.
The reactions
This
differ.
is absolutely
I'm sorry.
theatrical.
We do not
You
react
can't
in the
do
same
this.
way.
The youth of this country
No,
is
if you
watching.
think it's
Me as the
theatrical,
youth,
I'm
I
sorry,
will not
sir.
advocate this.
I am sorry.
This is absolutely not okay, ma'am. You can
You
fight
may
the
not,
DMK.
but all the five
Yeah,
fingers are not the
protest.
same, sir.
Fight them too.
Sir, all the five fingers are not the
This
same.
dramatics
Please
of sorts,
understand that.
Umaji.
Okay, so let
Now,
me get in
Umaji,
Suman C.
you're a-
Raman as
you're a
well.
very learned
Umanandan and
person.
Asad
I am
Abbas.
sorry.
Asad Abbas and Umanandan, just a second. Suman C. Raman, now, say what may, Mr. Annamalai is a politician. He is the state president of the BJP. And 2026, which is not far away, there are state elections in Tamil Nadu. So is there a political point that is being made of this?
This is a heinous crime. Any respectable politician would have to hold the incumbent government to account, would have to do everything logically, sensibly needed to bring the government to account, right? What would a politician, a responsible politician have done? A responsible politician would have gone to court, would have asked for, if required, a CBI inquiry, expressing lack of confidence in the state police, because there's very much out in public domain to raise questions about the way the state police has been handling this case. Most notably, how the FIR came out in public domain without the masking of the name of the individual. So I think that, look, this is what he should have been doing, and instead we see what is like a circus. I mean, what kind of is he taking the people of Tamil Nadu to be fools? I mean, I think honestly the BJP has lost the plot in Tamil Nadu. With due respect to Umaji, she can't openly say as much on the show for obvious reasons, but I'm sure off the record she also would be constrained to agree that is what is happening. They've lost the plot completely. They need a new hand in Tamil Nadu if they are to even have any hopes of salvaging something from 2026. The way the present, the manner in which this present situation is going for the BJP, they will not even be a marginal player in 2026. That is the way it is going. But you have to give it to Mr. Annamalai. His ability to make the High Command believe that the BJP is gaining huge traction in Tamil Nadu is unbelievable. And let me ask you one thing. Tell me one. I know that there are leaders who will do padayatras. They will do a fast. They will do all kinds of protest methods. Second, this is a form of self-flagellation which is done at temple events. I mean, if you call yourself a true Hindu, would you actually be doing something like this for political purposes? I have never heard of this. People do it for religious purposes. They do it as a form of repentance at temple events. But this is the first time I'm seeing this kind of a drama being enacted. And the fact that, the moment the 6th lash was over, as he started the 7th lash, somebody comes running up. I mean, what kind of a joke is it? I mean, it is sad that if the BJP, forget Mr. Annamalai, what he believes, if the BJP High Command believes that this is what it takes to attract the voters of Tamil Nadu, I think they are insulting the intelligence of voters of the state. I don't think anybody in his right senses would actually approve of this act. I have no problems with what he should have. And let me tell you one more thing. There are so many charges against the incumbent DMK government. The BJP has not taken them to court on one. When DMK was in power, they took the DMK government to court on dozens of issues. Now, this is a fixed match between the between the DMK and the BJP. The DMK is extremely happy with Mr. Annamalai. As long as he is in the saddle of the Tamil Nadu state as state president of BJP, the DMK is assured of victory in 2026.
No, I disagree with that point there.
Sorry, just a minute.
Let him finish.
I day in and day out. Please tell me the number of ED raids that have happened in Tamil Nadu state in the last 3 years. Please tell me. Tell me how many ministers went to jail except Senthil Balaji, who never went to jail because of these people. He went to jail because of the court. So please tell me.
So the issues at hand in the state of Tamil Nadu are not being raised. Uma Anandan, in fact, this entire controversy and what happened today seems to have brought the focus more on Mr. Annamalai than the actual case at hand.
Exactly.
Isn't that a disservice to the victim as well? Isn't that counterproductive to the cause he seems to be fighting for?
No, I am sorry. I disagree with Mr. Sumant Raman. I think the majority of the view is they don't want Mr. Annamalai because he has become the youth icon. You find the BJP growing in leaps and bounds, and people who don't want Mr. Annamalai out of the political scenario, out of the Tamil Nadu president post. That is why this is coming. I am very surprised. The political analysts like Mr. Sumant Raman telling that DMK is happy if Mr. Annamalai is in the scene. I think if at all there is one person about home, what about the Kerala, the hazards, the health waste that came? One statement from our president, and you had the Kerala government sending vans to pick up the health trash that they had, the waste There,
Sorry,
has this happened?
madam,
And
you
what
don't
about Tungsten?
mention
He
there
is
was
one
an
person who
NGT
takes up
order.
an issue and this happened.
Madam, there was an
No, after that, after our president, I am sorry,
Oh,
so
okay.
long this has
So
been,
so the
I am
Green
sorry,
president
so
got
long
scared-
as this was,
got
what
scared
was
because
the
of your
NGT
president.
doing? What was the NGT doing?
Okay, let's
so
not
many years?
okay, let's not
Only
digress.
after
Let's
our
bring
president
let's bring
coming
it back
into
to the
the
subject
scene.
at hand, which
No,
is
Absolutely.
the sexual assault of this victim on campus. She used to stay on campus. It's
Yes,
a prestigious,
definitely.
it's a prestigious
Yes.
university.
Yes,
it's not in the
definitely.
back of Beyond. It's in a prime locality in Chennai. And I want Mr. Redana to have the last word on this, because as far as policing is concerned, as far as law and order is concerned, questions of the state government will be asked, especially in a case like this. The university, the police, the state government all need to be answerable. There has to be greater accountability to ensure that this doesn't happen in even a back of the Beyond college anywhere in this country.
Definitely the
See, there's a
police
total
and the government has to take a strong step to investigate into this case. Apart from this, whoever all moving around this university like Gnanasekaran, they should be interrogated, and this Gnanasekaran must be having lot of friends who are all doing this kind of nonsense in and around university. This man should be interrogated, and it was told that he is involved in more than a dozen of cases. How is that he was allowed to do biryani business inside the campus and outside the campus? How he is moving inside the campus during nights? That should be checked in. Apart from that,
What about Gundas
he has to be interrogated properly, and whoever may be these friends who are all involved in this case, all the cases should be come into a fast track court, and see that the government should bring all these accused, including himself, including the Gnanasekaran, and to charge sheet him immediately. See that he should be punished within 3 months. Within 3 months, he should be punished by laying charge sheet. Otherwise, this kind of atrocities will go around the country.
Absolutely.
Sir, have
And
you
now
seen
that
the photos of him with senior leaders of the party?
Can I come in
Mr.
now?
Redana, have you
Can I
seen
come in here,
photos
please?
of these accused?
Poonamji.
With so
30
many of
seconds, I need, Poonamji.
so many
But now
ministers
pho-
and senior leaders.
Sure,
This
but
has
now
been-
photographs are not necessarily
I'm not
a
saying they are.
foolproof evidence of anything. But the
I'm
point
not
is that
saying
he
they
was a
are.
history sheeter. He's accused of assaulting someone on that very campus, and yet he's allowed to put a stall right outside. He's allowed to walk in and walk out as he pleases. But Sayyid Abbas, last 30 seconds, you wanted to make a point.
Thank you, Poonamji. Appreciate the time. You know, there are two quick points I'd like to make. Of course, Sumansi Raman Saab, I've done over 100 debates with him. He's absolutely right on the front. You know, I agree with him. Undoubtedly, this is theatrics, this is dramatics. Because me, as youth of this nation, who's been inspired listening to him live on stage, it really beats my scientific temper when he does this to grab eyeballs with media's presence. But another point with Sumant Raman ji made, which I absolutely do not agree with. Of course, in defense of Mr. Annamalai, this man has fought tooth and nail on ground with DMK. We saw what happens in the elections. Time and again, he did everything in his might. And let me tell you, sir, Modi ji or Amit Shah ji are not fools to give the reins of Tamil Nadu to Annamalai, sir. If you go back and
Sir,
see,
please.
he's
Sure,
been
but
an
is the
alumni of
end
the
game
IIMS.
just
He's also
politics?
been
Is
an
it just
IPS
the state
officer.
elections of 2026? We really hope not, and we really hope as far as this case goes and any other law and order situation or issue goes, we hope that politicians, not just in Tamil Nadu, but around the country, rise above just mere politics and talk about the justice that is required. I have to leave it there. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak. It is time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because on the other side, we have a special tribute that we want to pay to India's former Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was the most unlikely Prime Minister. He was more an accidental one. When Sonia Gandhi refused to take the job in 2004, it was the mild-mannered, soft-spoken economist who was a choice. While it did cause much heartburn in the Congress, Sonia Gandhi was convinced that Dr. Singh was the right man for the job. Dr. Manmohan Singh had been the governor of the RBI, deputy chairman of the Planning Commission, secretary in the Finance Ministry. While his resume was impressive, many in the Congress felt he was not equipped to head a coalition government. Sonia Gandhi was aware of this, which is why she staunchly backed Dr. Singh during his tenure, even reprimanding her party colleagues when they contradicted him publicly. She did not even spare her own son, Rahul Gandhi, who embarrassed Dr. Singh in 2013 by tearing up an ordinance which would protect convicted lawmakers. Dr. Manmohan Singh was away in the United States at that time. After Rahul's stunt, the then opposition BJP called for Dr. Singh's resignation. Sonia instructed Rahul to meet the Prime Minister and apologize. The fact that Sonia Gandhi had chosen a politically naive person as Prime Minister made Dr. Singh vulnerable to the attacks of being a weak and rubber-stamped Prime Minister. There were reports of him being snubbed by seniors like Pranab Mukherjee at cabinet meetings. Indo-US nuclear deal turned out to be a watershed moment. Dr. Singh was convinced that it was a good deal and would fulfill India's energy needs. The left threatened to withdraw support and urged Dr. Singh and Sonia Gandhi to defer the deal. But he dug his heels in. Dr. Singh not only dared the left to walk out, he also said he would resign if asked to take back the deal.
I am very proud to say that our Prime Minister, Shri Manmohan Singh ji, has recognized both the problem and a potential solution. The magic of what Shri Manmohan Singh ji is doing is that within the problem, he has identified an opportunity that is significantly larger than the problem itself. I would like to support our Prime Minister and like to say that he has shown tremendous courage and confidence in the Indian people.
Sonia Gandhi was convinced. She asked the party to get on board. Mulayam Singh, Ajit Singh also backed the deal and it went through. The left did withdraw the support, but the UPA was steady. Singh emerged as king, and this was reinforced when he came back to power with a thumping majority in 2009, riding high on farm loan waivers.
हमारे यूपीए सरकार ने जो किसानों के लिए किया है, जो कर्ज की माफ़ी कर रहे हैं, तो वो एक क्रांतिकारी कदम है, एक ऐतिहासिक कदम है.
But soon after victory, things started to unravel in UPA too. Dr. Singh objected to the inclusion of A. Raja and T.R. Balu as ministers, but the DMK threatened to withdraw support. He had to succumb to pressure and things were never the same again. Corruption allegations propped up. The coal scam hit Dr. Singh and he was summoned for questioning by the parliamentary committee. He was also accused of going soft on the 2G scam.
15वीं लोकसभा की सरकार आजादी के बाद इस देश की सबसे बेस्ट सरकार है. 2G में 1,76,000 करोड़ का घाटा और कोयला आवंटन में 1,86,000 करोड़ की लूट. इसके बाद ये सरकार एक मिनट भी अपने पद पर बचने का अधिकार नहीं रखती है.
UPA ministers rushed to defend him, but the damage was already done.
मैं आज इनसे आग्रह करूंगा कि संसद में
Thank you for staying with us. He's the man who steered India through sweeping reforms. He paved the way for India's emergence as a global economic powerhouse, a soft-spoken technocrat who laid the foundation of a new India. Dr. Manmohan Singh passed away last night at the age of 92 here in the national capital. He was the first Prime Minister since Jawaharlal Nehru to ever return to power, for the Congress at least. Manmohan Singh was often tagged the accidental Prime Minister. Many would say he was a reluctant one. His blue turban was his trademark. An Oxford-trained economist, he was widely credited as the architect of far-reaching reforms that opened up India's economy, propelled years of unprecedented growth and lifted billions of Indians out of poverty. His decade as a Prime Minister helped develop regional peace and global partnership, especially with the United States. He leaves behind a void that is incomparable.
उनका जाना एक राष्ट्र के रूप में भी हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी क्षति है.
We know him as a great Prime Minister, somebody who pulled 10 million people out of poverty every year, somebody who managed the economy so well that India survived the world financial crisis when other countries were going under. He did all of that, but I remember most of all the human being.
उनकी छाप पूरी दुनिया में पड़ी. उनके इकोनॉमिक लिबरलाइजेशन के लिए, जिससे हिंदुस्तान का इकोनॉमिक नक्शा ही बदल गया.
He changed India and he changed the region and maybe the global balance also. As Prime Minister, he handled that delicate phase as the war ended, and then how you got on to transition to peace and resolving the outstanding issues.
India and the world today is mourning the loss of Dr. Manmohan Singh, India's former Prime Minister. Joining me is Meera Kumar, former Lok Sabha Speaker, also a cabinet colleague of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Ms. Kumar, here on CNN News 18. You were a part of Dr. Manmohan Singh's cabinet. What was your experience like? Any anecdotes that you'd like to share working alongside him, working under his leadership?
Thank you so much for inviting me for this show. First of all, I want to pay my very respectful homage to Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. I have known him for many, many years before he joined the cabinet, before he became the Prime Minister. We were neighbors, and I went to his house very often. He came to my house quite often. And this interaction was to my benefit because the kind of personality he was and the way he was thinking has enriched me, because I thought he was a very rare personality. He was completely free from any kind of prejudice. Most of the people I meet have some kind of prejudice regarding religion or caste or color or language or wealth of the person, even the address of the person. You know, there's so many kind of prejudices, but I found him above all that, and that really has impressed me and also has enriched me. Later, I was a member of the cabinet and I was Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment. And he told me, Meera ji, your ministry, social justice, is the face of our government. It is the identity of our government. It is the soul of our government. Social justice for those who are left behind, who are at the margin, the Dalits, the backwards, the deprived, the people with disability, the senior citizens, the orphan children, and such like. How much can we do for them? What extent of commitment we have for them is the real test, is the litmus test for this government. And I was so impressed by his sensitivity. Very few people have this kind of sensitivity. And you see, when I became the speaker, there is something which I learned from him, which I always tell people. You see, there's been a long-standing tradition in our parliament that for discussing anything important, it's always the Prime Minister who comes to the chamber of the Speaker, and it's not the Speaker who goes to the Prime Minister's office. So one day he rang up and he came to my chamber. We had the discussion, but I was very embarrassed, and I said, he's such a great personality with so much experience, and I should be going to his office. So next time when he wanted to come, I said, no, please don't come. I'm coming to your office. He said, no, no, you can't come. I said, no, I will come. He said, no, Meera ji, there's a very healthy tradition that we have in our parliament, and we should preserve it. It should continue. So I learned that whatever has been happening which is good and healthy must be continued. Which is not healthy, harmful, must of course be done away with. So I learned a lot from.
And since your association goes back even before your political career began, I want to ask you this: was he always somebody that spoke very little? Was he always a man of few words? Because I'm asking you this because when you were elected the first woman speaker of the Lok Sabha, he said this is an iron fist behind a velvet voice. Was he soft? Was he always somebody who was open with the kind of praise or criticism that he had for his colleagues?
It should not be a matter of criticism. If you speak less, it's much better. You work more and you speak less as compared to those who speak a lot and don't work much. So this is a very good quality in him, and he always chose his words which never hurt anybody. I don't think he ever hurt anybody with his words. And he was just dedicated to his work. And as a teacher, he was a great teacher. He was a great teacher. And there are so many economists who have become great economists because he taught them. And he was as an administrator, of course, he has a remarkable career. And then when our economy, when our economy was at the brink and we had almost exhausted our foreign exchange, it was he who came to its rescue. I don't think anyone could have done what he did. And for the economic reforms that we are now seeing the benefit of it. And when there was economic meltdown in the world, how he steered our economy. I mean, there were so many developed nations which had GDP which fell below zero. we were still, we managed because of him.
And the economist in him, the architect of reforms, economic reforms in this country is something that is spoken of, but something that is not spoken of is how he handled foreign policy, the United States specifically in that one nuclear deal situation and the neighborhood. I ask you this because you've been a diplomat yourself before you were a politician. So what was your impression of him in that aspect?
Yes. I was going to mention, it's not that it should not go unmentioned, but he steered the country clear of all this. It was a great controversy at that time, I remember. But how deft he was in handling the situation. And I think I knew, as people say that he spoke less, I think that was a quality which really, really counts sometimes in diplomacy. Well, he was not a trained diplomat, but in diplomacy that also is a virtue. Yes. And so far as our neighborhood is concerned, again, situations in the life of the nation. There's so many, there are critical moments, and how it depends on the person who is at the helm of affairs, and that is the Prime Minister. It depends on the Prime Minister to really ensure how the country, nation is not affected or harmed by it, and it progresses. He brought about so many historic bills that were enacted, right to education, because he was an educationist, right to education, right to information, you see, to say that yes, we remove the curtain. It is a very, very bold step. And Manrega, I think, is a grand thing. What has happened for the, till now in our economy, the percolation theory was applied. at the top you develop, and then the benefit of that would percolate to the bottom and to the poor. But he said, no, we will directly approach the poor and benefit them. So all these were great historic steps that he took.
And much like his blue turban, taking bold reforms was also his trademark, many would say. Some people called him the compulsive reformer as well. But I want to ask you this, in his last press conference in 2014, he said, I believe that history is going to be kinder to me than my contemporaries or the contemporary media. Do you think that rings true today?
Well, history doesn't have to be kind to him. History is compelled. History is just compelled to praise him for what he has done. It's not a question of being kind. You are kind when a person has not done anything and then you praise. Then when a person has done things, you're just fair to the person.
Economic reforms is something that Dr. Manmohan Singh was credited with. What we see India's economy in shape today, he laid the foundation of that new India.
Yes, he did. That is acknowledged all over the world. Even his opponents in India acknowledge that he laid the foundation for economic reform and liberalization.
So many people tagged him the accidental Prime Minister. How would you respond to that? Somebody who was very close to him also called him that. One of his advisors, in fact.
Who said that?
Sanjay Baru had called him the accidental Prime Minister. There was a book on him about it as well.
I have read the book. I don't agree that he was an accidental Prime Minister. He was deliberately chosen by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi in order to be Prime Minister in a situation where Mr. Narasimha Rao could not be again Prime Minister and Mrs. Gandhi was reluctant to be Prime Minister. He was not a stopgap Prime Minister. He was not a Prime Minister filling in for the real Prime Minister. He was named Prime Minister after deliberation by Mrs. Gandhi. And he proved to be a very successful Prime Minister in terms of what he achieved. How do you call it? Accident. An accident is, for example, the President of the US dies and the Vice President constitutionally get elected as President. That is accident. This is not an accident at all. I disagree with Mr. Baru when he described Dr. Manmohan Singh as an accidental Prime Minister.
Mr. Chidambaram, in his last press conference, Dr. Manmohan Singh had said that history will be kinder to me than the contemporary media or my contemporaries in politics. Do you think history is kinder to him today?
Well, today is the day after his passing away. So everybody is kind, but the fangs may be exposed after a few days. Even today on social media, there are some disgraceful comments of a man who dies at 92 after a lifetime of service as a civil servant, economist, and finally Prime Minister. But there are many, many expressions of condolences where people have paid a genuine tribute to Dr. Manmohan Singh after fully understanding the impact of Dr. Manmohan Singh on the current situation. Few people leave such a lasting impact on the politics or the economics of the country. What Dr. Manmohan Singh has done to India's economy is to change it beyond recognition. For example, you try to talk to children born after 1991, they cannot imagine that we lived without color television or mobile telephone or laptops or iPads or such technological marvels. They are amazed, astounded by if I tell them that we had only one telephone provider, and if you want to make a long distance call, you have to quote unquote book a call and wait for hours. If you wanted to fly, you had only one airline. That is something incomprehensible to the generation born after 1991. Therefore, the impact that Dr. Manmohan Singh's reforms, both as Finance Minister and as Prime Minister, will have an impact, has had an impact for the last 23 years and will have an impact for another 25 years.
So one last thing I want to ask you before I let you go. You've worked alongside Dr. Manmohan Singh in his cabinet under his leadership. Any fond memories that you would like to share today, that the side of Manmohan Singh that perhaps the world or India didn't see?
There are many reminiscences, but this is not an appropriate time to narrate personal reminiscences. That requires a separate chapter or a separate article, because half statements or random statements can be misunderstood and misinterpreted. For example, I have reminiscences about his situation when the Indo-US nuclear deal was almost scuttled. I have reminiscences of other situations, both happy and sad, but that will be told at an appropriate time.
I honestly believe that history will be kinder to me than the contemporary media or for that matter, the opposition parties in parliament. I cannot, I think, divulge all the things that take place in the cabinet system of government. I think, taking into account the circumstances and the compulsions of a coalition polity, I have done as best as I could do under the circumstances.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was the most unlikely Prime Minister. He was more an accidental one. When Sonia Gandhi refused to take the job in 2004, it was the mild-mannered, soft-spoken economist who was a choice. While it did cause much heartburn in the Congress, Sonia Gandhi was convinced that Dr. Singh was the right man for the job. Dr. Manmohan Singh had been the governor of the RBI, deputy chairman of the Planning Commission, secretary in the Finance Ministry. While his resume was impressive, many in the Congress felt he was not equipped to head a coalition government. Sonia Gandhi was aware of this, which is why she staunchly backed Dr. Singh during his tenure, even reprimanding her party colleagues when they contradicted him publicly. She did not even spare her own son, Rahul Gandhi, who embarrassed Dr. Singh in 2013 by tearing up an ordinance which would protect convicted lawmakers. Dr. Manmohan Singh was away in the United States at that time. After Rahul's stunt, the then opposition BJP called for Dr. Singh's resignation. Sonia instructed Rahul to meet the Prime Minister and apologize. The fact that Sonia Gandhi had chosen a politically naive person as Prime Minister made Dr. Singh vulnerable to the attacks of being a weak and rubber-stamped Prime Minister. There were reports of him being snubbed by seniors like Pranab Mukherjee at cabinet meetings. Indo-US nuclear deal turned out to be a watershed moment. Dr. Singh was convinced that it was a good deal and would fulfill India's energy needs. The left threatened to withdraw support and urged Dr. Singh and Sonia Gandhi to defer the deal. But he dug his heels in. Dr. Singh not only dared the left to walk out, he also said he would resign if asked to take back the deal.
I am very proud to say that our Prime Minister, Shri Manmohan Singh ji, has recognized both the problem and a potential solution. The magic of what Shri Manmohan Singh ji is doing is that within the problem, he has identified an opportunity that is significantly larger than the problem itself. I would like to support our Prime Minister and like to say that he has shown tremendous courage and confidence in the Indian people.
Sonia Gandhi was convinced. She asked the party to get on board. Mulayam Singh, Ajit Singh also backed the deal and it went through. The left did withdraw the support, but the UPA was steady. Singh emerged as king, and this was reinforced when he came back to power with a thumping majority in 2009, riding high on farm loan waivers.
हमारे यूपीए सरकार ने जो किसानों के लिए
eminent scholar, world-renowned economist, visionary finance minister, architect of India's economic reforms, two-term Prime Minister, gentleman to a fault. Dr. Manmohan Singh was born in 1932 in Gah in West Punjab, currently Pakistan. A brilliant student, Manmohan Singh, whose family came to India in the partition years, got his master's degree in economics from Punjab University and then earned his doctorate from Oxford. He returned to India to teach economics at Punjab University and later at the Delhi School of Economics. In 1972, Singh became Chief Economic Advisor in the Finance Ministry. He later became the Finance Secretary. In 1982, he served as RBI Governor under then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee. He also served as Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission as well as UGC Chairman. Manmohan Singh's appointment as Finance Minister in 1991 by Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao surprised many, including Singh himself. He took over at a time when the country's fiscal deficit and balance of payments were in bad shape, and India had to seek IMF help to tide over the dire situation. Singh quickly got into the act and deregulated the economy. License, permit Raj soon became history. The bold reforms initiated by Dr. Singh that saw privatization of PSUs gave wings to the Indian middle class. The reforms created more jobs and suddenly the middle class had more disposable income. His reforms brought more foreign investment into India. Never elected to the Lok Sabha, Dr. Singh remained a Rajya Sabha MP from 1991 till April this year. He was the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha between 1998 and 2004. In 2004, the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led India Shining campaign didn't click and the Congress-led UPA formed the government with the support of left parties. When all eyes were on Sonia Gandhi, who had led her party and the coalition to power, she sprang a surprise and chose her trusted lieutenant Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister over veteran Congress leaders like Pranab Mukherjee. Singh went on to head the UPA government as the 14th Prime Minister of India and became the first Sikh to take charge of the top office. The Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, popularly known as Manrega, that helped lift millions of rural poor out of poverty, and the Right to Information Act were undoubtedly two of Dr. Singh's major achievements during his first term as Prime Minister. Under Manrega, the rural poor were guaranteed 100 days of paid work in a year. But it's his strong stand on the Indo-US civil nuclear deal when he refused to back down amid mounting pressure from the left.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was the most unlikely Prime Minister. He was more an accidental one. When Sonia Gandhi refused to take the job in 2004, it was the mild-mannered, soft-spoken economist who was a choice.
I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India.
While it did cause much heartburn in the Congress, Sonia Gandhi was convinced that Dr. Singh was the right man for the job. Dr. Manmohan Singh had been the governor of the RBI, deputy chairman of the Planning Commission, secretary in the Finance Ministry. While his resume was impressive, many in the Congress felt he was not equipped to head a coalition government. Sonia Gandhi was aware of this, which is why she staunchly backed Dr. Singh during his tenure, even reprimanding her party colleagues when they contradicted him publicly. She did not even spare her own son, Rahul Gandhi, who embarrassed Dr. Singh in 2013 by tearing up an ordinance which would protect convicted lawmakers. Dr. Manmohan Singh was away in the United States at that time. After Rahul's stunt, the then opposition BJP called for Dr. Singh's resignation. Sonia instructed Rahul to meet the Prime Minister and apologize. The fact that Sonia Gandhi had chosen a politically naive person as Prime Minister made Dr. Singh vulnerable to the attacks of being a weak and rubber-stamped Prime Minister. There were reports of him being snubbed by seniors like Pranab Mukherjee at cabinet meetings. Indo-US nuclear deal turned out to be a watershed moment. Dr. Singh was convinced that it was a good deal and would fulfill India's energy needs. The left threatened to withdraw support and urged Dr. Singh and Sonia Gandhi to defer the deal. But he dug his heels in. Dr. Singh not only dared the left to walk out, he also said he would resign if asked to take back the deal.
I am very proud to say that our Prime Minister, Shri Manmohan Singh ji, has recognized both the problem and a potential solution. The magic of what Shri Manmohan Singh ji is doing is that within the problem, he has identified an opportunity that is significantly larger than the problem itself. I would like to support our Prime Minister and like to say that he has shown tremendous courage and confidence in the Indian people.
Sonia Gandhi was convinced. She asked the party to get on board. Mulayam Singh, Ajit Singh also backed the deal and it went through. The left did withdraw the support, but the UPA was steady. Singh emerged as king, and this was reinforced when he came back to power with a thumping majority in 2009, riding high on farm loan waivers.
हमारे यूपीए सरकार ने जो किसानों के लिए किया है, जो कर्ज की माफ़ी कर रहे हैं, तो वो एक क्रांतिकारी कदम है, एक ऐतिहासिक कदम है.
But soon after victory, things started to unravel in UPA too. Dr. Singh objected to the inclusion of A. Raja and T.R. Balu as ministers, but the DMK threatened to withdraw support. He had to succumb to pressure and things were never the same again.
Namaste, and this is a special tribute to one of the foremost Prime Ministers of Bharat who changed the economic shape of the country and perhaps sent it in the direction where we continue to march on today. Joining us now is Sri Dinesh Trivedi, former Union Minister, Railways and also the Health Minister during the UPA term. Dinesh Trivedi ji, namaste. Thank you for your time. Your thoughts on Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh as we remember him fondly?
Well, as I said, that not only India but perhaps the whole world is sad because world has lost a true scholar and a statesman. So this is where I feel very sad, obviously. And I was fortunate to be part of Manmohan Singh's cabinet. And I knew him even before that as a governor, Reserve Bank, Planning Commission, Finance Secretary, Finance Minister. And he was my colleague in Rajya Sabha. The reason I say colleague is because he treated everybody as a colleague. And even when he was chairing a cabinet meeting, which was every week, he never made us feel that he was the Prime Minister of India. Very humble, very soft, and to the point. There was not a single word which was extra than required. So one learned a lot of things from Dr. Manmohan Singh by even just by staying with him. Throughout the meeting, the way he would conduct, the way he would listen, and we all had freedom to speak whatever we want to speak related to our ministry. And there could have been very heated exchange of words also, as long as they are civilized. And we could hold our turf and we could argue